Okay, in this video I will show you how I turned this into the MicroKorg Stormtrooper edition. Okay, so I'll take one last look of its current presence. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the original design. It's just I felt like it needed a brand new fresh set of white teeth for this boy. This model is about 20 years old. It's typical that the plastic does turn a certain color over the years. I mean, just look at that difference. And if I'm opening up the MicroKorg for the keyboard anyway, I may as well do some minor tweaks here and there. I will add all the links in the YouTube description for anyone inspired to do the same. Just put in mind I do live in Germany, most of the links are German shops, except for the original Korg parts. Like the keyboard for example, I was only able to get these out of France. Yeah, so first things first is I took a blunt knife to get rid of all the encoders, the nuts and bolts, and unscrewed the metal plate of the Korg. So in order to take everything apart, you first need to dismantle the keys and get the circuit board off. For some reason, some of the buttons, they fell off and broke. I'm not sure if it's something happened over the 20 years and they just stayed in there, or whether it's happened just recently, but yeah, that was a pain trying to get them together again. But as you can see here, you're left with about 7-8 elements, including obviously the screws. Here you see the new side panels. I went for a slight angle compared to the original. I kind of like the Moog style, a more of a modular type feeling, so the slanted panels were perfect for this one. So I first taped up the display and the modulation and pitch wheel. I mean, I could have took them out. I noticed later on that you can take them off, and I just kept them in there. So what I did was, tape around them and sand around them. I wanted to take a layer off, but not exactly scratch the surface. So find the most fine sandpaper you could find. I had two different sandpaper styles, so the 600 was more finer for the plastic and the P400 was perfect for the wooden side panels. In this part, I was preparing the spraying of the actual plastic. I used obviously the bath because I do not have a garden or a type of garage where I could do such thing. If you do have, I would much advise that, because I could not get the smell of the spray out of the house for about a whole week. So because the first layer was too thin and you could still see through, I had to go for at least two to three layers, and yeah, that will stink out the house. One can wasn't enough. I mean, if you can see, it says 150 mils on there. I did use 3 cans eventually, but I'm happy with the result. And as you can see here, it's completely white, so it worked out. Now the part to bring everything back together again. It was a little tricky because of the, like I said, the buttons, they snapped off, which took a little longer putting together than taking apart, but it eventually worked. And yeah, my brother, he popped round and helped me with getting this back together again. It's also a kind of meditating state, working with circuit boards. Somehow it's yeah, very soothing for the mind, even though it was a tricky thing. Yeah, as long as you have enough Allen keys, different sizes of Allen keys, because the knobs and the side panels needed very, very tiny Allen keys, which I thought I had every single size, but I did have to get a special Allen key for this. Then eventually cover the screws with some white kind of stickers. This is the part where I put back the metal plate. Like I said before, I nearly went with a white plate from the US. There was an online shop that sells the decals for the MicroKorg, but I eventually stuck with the original because, as you see here with the buttons, I really very much like the contrast, like how the white pops out of the black. As you can see here at the back, it's completely white. It would be good for the future to have little indicators on the ins and outs. Some fresh batteries at the back here for being a little more mobile. And yeah, the moment of truth. Let's see, and it switches on. I was a little worried about it not working, but it works like a charm. All these sounds you hear in the background were created using nothing but the MicroKorg, which will be released next year. The colors, the way they pop, the keyboard, the way it shines, I'm ecstatic about a new synth, even though it's 20 years old. I brought life back into this machine.